All right, what's going on, YouTube? This is Just Crust. This is me, my beautiful, shining face for the first time ever revealed. And I'm making a special little video tonight. It is currently 2:15 in the morning, as I say. Well, actually, I guess this morning then. In celebration of school starting, classes almost around the world, or around the United States, started Monday, or for me, I start today, Tuesday. And so, in celebration of that, I have decided to give a little tour because I've mentioned many times on this channel that I am a college student. I go to college. I am about to be into my third year as a college student. I am double majoring in math and history. I am a teaching wet dream. But today I wanted to give a little bit of a tour as to what the rest of my coursework could look like. So as I may have noted through some of my studying videos, the Today I Learned or the exam reviews, I am obviously a math major at first, which tragic. And as you can see, what's pulled up here on the main screen is a little bit of math. And basically what I was going to do is I'm doing a bachelor's of arts in math. What I could do is give a tour on some of the classes I have left. I can already warn you, this will not be a purely educational video because I have no idea what this stuff means. But it's just a view as to what I am studying, what I will be taking in the coming semesters, including what I'm taking this semester currently. And then I can make a separate video probably right after I finish making this one about the history videos that are the history classes that I have yet to take. And those might be a little bit more interesting, a little bit more particular. And I can share some of the stuff I actually do know. But before I get into the class that I have yet to take, I can talk about the class I have taken a little bit. I've taken 3 of the 9 math classes that I need to graduate. I need to graduate with at least 9 math classes, as well as 1 computer science class, which I have listed at the end of my tabs over here. And so I've taken Introduction to Linear Algebra. I took that in the fall of last year. It was a pretty easy class. I enjoyed it a decent amount. We learned a lot about matrices, and basically that's it, matrices, and how to transform them and do this, that, and the other with them, which also helped with differential equations. And we also learned eigenvalues, eigenvectors, and then you'll also be seeing linear algebra is listed in one of these tabs because I have to take the advanced version, but I'm getting ahead of myself. And then in the spring of last year, I took 2 math courses, specifically differential equations and introduction to higher mathematics. Ordinary differential equations are differential equations of one variable. Basically, you're looking at an equation as well as its derivative, and you're trying to relate them in some way, shape, or form, and that is the most basic way I can explain it, and that's also probably one of the most incorrect ways I could explain it, and they're very helpful. But when I say they are very helpful, what I actually mean is partial differential equations are helpful, and as you can see, that is the first Wikipedia article I have up right here, and it's the partial differential equation. But I'm, again, getting ahead of myself. And then we have Transition to Higher Mathematics. That was a class I took, and then it's not a required class, but I used it as one of my electives. And so, Introduction to Higher Mathematics was basically just that. It was an introduction to proofing, and it was an introduction to other sort of classes, or other sort of higher level math thinking. Because like for us, at my school, to become a math major, you need to do the calc circuit, which is basically Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3, obviously, and then you can declare. And then you have 4 required classes that you need to take all over any discipline, and 2 of them are on here. And it's linear algebra, differential equations, real analysis, and then a survey of mathematics or survey of algebra. Um, and 2 of those 4 classes I just listed are very proof based. And so Introduction to Higher Maths is a way to sort of bridge that gap that is created with high school and the introductory courses in college, such as Calc and DiffyQ and Linear, not having many proofs. And it's proof-based, so you basically learn how to somewhat structure a proof, how to do a proof by induction, which is important also in CS. Um, as well as you also just learn some concepts like number theory, and we talked a lot about functions, which is incredibly important in our survey of algebra that I'll be talking about later. But those are the 3 courses I've already taken that I've already talked about to an extent on this channel. What courses do I have left? Well, I just looked over my everything because I completely forgot, because again, it's been a whole summer. And I have 7, roughly, classes left to take regarding math. And if you include the computer science one, and we'll get right to it. So the first one, I'm taking 2 this semester. And that's kind of how it's going to shape out to be for the rest of my college career, which is hopefully, knock on wood, going to be 2 years left. And so what I got, so I got partial differential equations first, which is obviously imposes relations between the various partial derivatives of a multivariable function. What the hell just happened? Anyway, sorry about that. A little quick. Okay, so and then so what I just mentioned in the talking about the ordinary differential equations is that the actual important ones are partials. And I have some roommates that are engineers, and they need to do PDEs. They are aerospace, and PDEs describe very important things, such as I just watched them take it last semester, so like I kind of know this, or I know like what they were talking about. We're talking about flow, and they're talking about the distribution of a function, basically, and some of the most important stuff, fluid dynamics. Fluid dynamics, how things flow is tracked through partial differential equations. And you can look at that and you can see that through things like the Navier-Stokes equation and other stuff like that. Basically, I don't know. I am a struggling math student. That's sort of one of the big uses. And so we can talk about basically, the introduction, a function of 3 variables is harmonic, or a solution of the Laplace equation if it satisfies the condition that the second derivative with respect to x plus the second derivative with respect to y plus the second derivative with respect to x or to z is 0. And that is very similar to to ordinary differential equations, where that was the same case, where it was just it equaled 0 with a single derivative equaled 0. And we can go on, and you can basically just see notation when writing PDEs. It is common to note partials using subscripts. So ux, like that, u double x, uy, etc., etc. And then I've discussed the Laplace operator before, blah blah blah, in Calc 3. And so this is PDE. Basically, what I've heard, and this is what I'm gonna stick to at this point, is that PDE is ODE, but like more. In ODEs, we got specific ways to solve specific differential equations, and then we just kind of went with it, and we just sent it forward, and we continued. And we got a new type of equation, and we got a new type of way to solve it. And sometimes they'd make a return, such as using an integrating factor like mu. And so what I've heard is PDE is you just have a ton more types of equations to solve, and then you have a ton more tools to use at the same time, which I find interesting. I think that would be an interesting thing to learn. And so I'm actually kind of excited to do PDE because it's going to be the same professor that I had ODE with, which I think is really cool as well, just to kind of try to build those relationships. And so we have some examples of PDEs I pulled up. I don't know what most of these are, but just think of a lot of formulas in like physics and stuff. Heat conduction. And you can see the Laplace equation, the wave equation of a vibrating membrane, obviously. Come on now. It's kid stuff at this point. But then we can go on to the next thing, which I've pulled up, is a survey of algebra, and I believe this might even be my textbook. I have no idea. Oh, nope, it's published in 41. No shot. So what instead I decided to use as the Wikipedia page that is indicative of what I need to know is group. Because one of the main things that I was shown that I was going to be learning is group theory, ring theory, set theory, as well as number theory, talking about real numbers, complex numbers, and the like, basically, is what I was told. And so this class is more, in my opinion, or from the very, very little I know, it is more directly linked to my introduction to higher mathematics class, because we already did talk about set theory and number theory, and we discussed functions a lot, which will be helping, or which will help link to rings and groups, as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know at this point. And that's cool. Because I know real analysis is proving calculus, and that, first off, let me just pull up the mic here. It's fucking terrifying. But I didn't want to wear the headset. because this is not like a gaming video, and my only mic is a headset. I didn't want to wear the headset, so this is why the audio might sound a little weird. Um, but whatever, I didn't want to wear it. But basically, proving calculus sounds absolutely terrifying to me, and I don't want to do it until I have to, which is why that real analysis will be taken in the spring of this year. So these two classes that I just showed, or I guess next year, these two classes I just showed, PD and Algebra, I'll go through the wiki real quick with it. An algebraic group is an algebraic variety endowed with a group structure which is compatible with the structure as an algebraic variety. Thus, the study of algebraic groups belongs to both geometry and group theory. Riveting stuff. So formally, an algebraic group over a field K is an algebraic variety G over K, together with a distinguishing element E in G of K, the neutral element, and regular maps G by G maps to G, which is the multiplication operation, and G maps to G, the inverse operation, which satisfy group axioms. If I told you I understood more than like 4 words of that, I would be lying to you. It's just that simple. It's daunting. This class definitely seems like it'd be higher mathematics, and I'm ready for it at this point. It's fight or flight with my entire career in mathematics at this point. And so, like an example, a non-singular cubic curve in the projective plane P2 can be endowed with a geometrically defined group law, which makes it into an algebraic group. See elliptic curve. I will not see the elliptic curve, but I believe you. So partial differential equations and algebra are my math classes for this semester. Next semester, we get a little bit funky with it. I will move that's a spoiler. Next semester, I'm going to also be taking 2 math classes. It'll be real analysis, and I brought up Euler, my mistake, Euler, for a specific reason, but I will get to that in a second. Real analysis, I'll just read the description. In mathematics, the branch of real analysis studies the behavior of real numbers, sequences, and series of real numbers and real functions. Some particular properties of real valued sequences and functions that real analysis studies include convergence, limits, continuity, smoothness, differentiability, and integrability. Real analysis is distinguished from complex analysis, which is foreshadowing, which is the study of complex numbers and their functions. And so if you noticed, most of the blue words in these sentences are calculus terms. Convergence, when you're talking about a series. Talking about limits, where a function approaches something. Continuity, if a function is continuous or continuous, which leads into differentiable and integrability and such. Real analysis is terrifying. That is the class that every math major in their life talks about with a certain amount of disdain. As you can see in the contents here, we have our sequences, how we're going to be proving that things are limits. And I've seen this before because we talked about, one of my professors is more of an analysis teacher, but he was also my Calc 3 professor. And what he did was I remember specifically when we were talking about limits and multiple dimensions and how things would approach, he showed us the proof. And he showed this basically specifically, but for multivariable. For any epsilon greater than 0, there exists a delta greater than 0, such that for all x in E, which is a strict subset of R, the real numbers, 0, which is less than the absolute value of x minus x naught, which is less than delta, implies that the absolute value of f of x minus L is less than epsilon, basically. That's, I know those words. I've seen those words before in Calc 3. I didn't want to know them. I did not want to learn how to prove multivariable limits in Calc 3 because I did not know what a multivariable limit was until then. But that was just me. I'd had many quarrels with that professor who's now my advisor. Funny how things work, isn't it? However, I digress. And then we can also see, talking about pointwise versus uniform, convergence for sequences of functions, continuity, differentiation, series, Taylor series, Fourier series, integration, Riemann, etc. This, I will not even lie, is terrifying to me. I don't want to do it, but I have to. And I'm going to take my time, and I'm probably going to do bad, but I'm allowed to get a C. And if you know what I'm going to say, you're a college student, or you know people, or you just are simple enough, you know that a C's get degrees. And that's about all I can say right now. So we're going to go next. I have just a wiki page of Euler, because the other class I'm going to be taking is actually something that kind of sounds interesting to me, but it's also proof-based, which I did not know until after I said I would take it, and I'm going to take it because I have no other options, because I've already withdrawn from math class, and that means I just have even less to go, like, to pick from. And this is history of mathematics. It will also be, let me strictly note, my first and hopefully only 5,000 level math class, and I kind of am terrified to find out why it's 5,000. Um, like this is like what like hypothetical like fourth year senior like grad student should take it, but I'm gonna be taking it with my like minuscule like pigeon drops of knowledge of math. But basically, it's gonna be exploring the history of mathematics and the history of some of the great mathematicians such as Newton, Euler, Leibniz, etc., etc. I could go on. You'll probably be talking about less known people that I know because I've seen people name drop like Cauchy before and stuff like that. But because Cauchy's also important in complex analysis, which is next. But basically, I have Euler up because Euler's very important, especially for complex analysis, as well as PDEs and ODEs, which I kind of didn't think about. We had to use his formulas, like the e to the I pi plus 1 equals 0. We had to use that. It was cringe. I didn't love it, but we did. My professor, I remember, he said this class is like 95% math and then like 5% proof. That 5% proof was put all into proving Euler, how Euler's formulas helped the complex case of a second order ordinary differential equation, which was cool. It was pretty cool. And I remember I looked at my friend who's in complex analysis at the same time, and I was like, hey man, did you catch all that? Like, did you understand it? And he was like, yeah, but like I don't get why he actually proved it. Because you definitely don't need to know that for ODEs, because he had already taken ODE before and he was just doing it again for some reason. I never caught why. But I have Euler up because Euler is really important. It was Euler or Newton, and Euler, I don't know. He's credited for popularizing the Greek letter pi, lowercase pi, to denote the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter, as well as using f of x for the value of a function, and the letter I to the -1, sigma for summation, delta for finite differences, and lowercase letters to represent the sides of a triangle, while the uppercase letters are angles. Riveting stuff. We're going to talk all about it. I know for a fact that there will be a paper at the end as well as presentations. Like I think I have to write like a literal like 20-page paper about a mathematician or like the things that they did, the processes that they went through, which is daunting to me because I'm also writing history papers. I just thought of like something just now, honestly. What if I just could use it for both majors? What if I questions for later. I'll think about that. I'll email people. I'll have my people contact the other people. But that's enough for this year. So next year, in the fall, I'm going to also be taking 2 classes for math. One is not entirely math related. That's the Java one, the Wikipedia that I have up for Java. However, one is, it's complex analysis, which is anti-real analysis. This is the branch of mathematical analysis that investigates functions of complex numbers. It is helpful in many branches of mathematics, including algebraic geometry, which was included in Survey of Algebra, number theory, analytic combinatorics, applied mathematics, as well as in physics, including hydrodynamics, thermodynamics, and quantum mechanics. By extension, use of complex analysis also has applications in engineering fields such as nuclear, aerospace, mechanical, and electrical. Aerospace is interesting because, again, some of my roommates, they are aerospace engineers, and they didn't have to take this, and they don't have to take it at all. And I think one of my friends was doing ODEs for a BS, doing a different type of ODE class, and they did not use complex numbers once. They didn't even touch them. They didn't talk about it at all, and I was kind of shocked, but whatever. As a differentiable function of a complex equation is equal to its Taylor series, That's interesting. I did not know that. That is, it is analytic. Complex analysis is particularly concerned with the analytic functions of a complex variable. And we can see here some of the most important things. Some of the big buzzwords: real number, imaginary number, complex plane, complex conjugate, which is crazy. Complex conjugate we talked about in ODEs, referring to matrices because of the end of the year when we talk about eigenvalues and eigenvectors when solving ODEs of first and second and higher order, which was crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Excuse me, just a little drink of my water. I don't have much more to say about it. I know specifically my class will be structured. I know it has a lot to do with talking a lot about Cauchy or Cauchy, whoever. Don't take away my math degree for calling a very important mathematician Augustin Louis Cauchy. Don't take it away for me calling him Coochie, please. Um, but anyway, I don't care. Next, we're talking about Java, the programming language. This is more than likely the programming that I will have to do. I have to because in my math degree, in the requirements section, there's actually one very specific part that says, due to the increasing technological advances of mathematics and the technological requirements of mathematics, you will be required to now take one introductory computer science class as a way to prepare me for the real world, which I didn't want. I have avoided computer science my entire life. I don't want to do it. My high school had AP computer science. I had taken that teacher before. I did not want her. I did not want to do it. AP computer science. I don't want to. And now I'm forced to if I want to graduate with math degree. And if real analysis doesn't break me, I have 1 year. I have 1 year to decide. I have 1 year to basically either kill myself, drop math, or I'm going to do computer science. And if real analysis doesn't get me, me having to do computer science will get me. And I just pulled up Java because I think my school has, like, I can do intro to a couple different computer science stuff. But specifically, this one is what I'm probably going to do. I'm going to do the most basic, most bare bones, most bitch made computer science course I can do, just so I can survive. Because by fall of my senior year, I will be, I know, doing at least 2 history classes, including one that might be my most important history class, depending on the subject, which is terrifying because that's, I know for a fact, a guaranteed 20+ page paper at the end, like published, like important paper. So I gotta focus for that. So computer science and complex analysis will be killer. However, there's one class left if you've been paying attention to the tabs, and that is linear algebra. Matrices, and basically the most important thing ever for computer science, is the first math class I completed outside of the calculus circuit in college, and it will also be the last class because I really know how to space them out. I took linear algebra last fall, so fall of 2021. I'll be taking advanced linear algebra, the next course in the chain. You go linear, advanced linear, and I'm taking it in spring of 2024 because I am fucking stupid. Advanced linear algebra, I've heard from one of my friends who's actually a graduated math major at this point, was talking to me about it, and he basically said it's more proof-based, it's a lot more intrinsic, or no, it's a lot more just focused on talking about matrices and why they work, why we use them for computer science, etc., etc., etc. He didn't take it the same school I did, but I trust him because I've talked to that man about math for like 2 hours, and he is a goddamn genius. He declined doing a doctorate in mathematics, which I, first off, like, smart enough to get accepted, brave enough to decline to just go on with his life. So he knows his stuff. I trust him, and I'm terrified for the proof-based, but I think by this point, if I survive survey of algebra and real analysis, obviously, as well as complex analysis, I will be familiar enough with proofs to be comfortable bullshitting them, I think, because by spring of 24, I will hopefully be just absolutely like gliding through my school year. But so yeah, this is just a little glimpse. This is a glimpse into some of the classes I, as a math major, as a surviving man, have to take to be able to graduate. I have to take 9 math courses and a computer science course. I've taken 3 already, and I'm going to be taking 6 more math classes, not including the computer science class. And that's not even including one of the other classes I'll have to take, which might be a graduation requirement that I have hilariously skipped over since last time I checked. But so this is some of the most advanced stuff, from applied mathematics on the side of partial differential equations to the purely theoretical other side of the equation in real analysis and the survey of mathematics, such as ring and group theory, set theory, number theory, and all of that, as well as the real analysis proving that calculus works, as well as all the stuff in between, such as the complex analysis, actually, which is very applicable to physics and engineering, as well as having its toes dipped into the real side, or into the very theoretical side of mathematics. So that's all that I've got for you, really. It's just a little showcase of some of the classes, some of the Wikipedias, some of what suffering I'm going to be going through. And I'll probably make the history one literally right after I stop this one. But if you enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe. And hope you enjoyed looking at me for 25 minutes while I looked at Wikipedia. Bye.